So Vivian, have you been like doing these dolls all of your life?
And, I always, after all, I was an only child,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, being raised just by my mother, I think she compensated because she used to be sure I had a doll, and
To
then
just
and
carry it
then
on.
when I married, Jack, I guess, loved me, so he had to love the dolls. And when he traveled, he always looked for dolls, and he knew about them too.
Where was your mother's millinery shop?
402 King Street.
King Street. Okay.
Yeah. You see this little
Yeah.
doll, so to speak. Do you know why she's not dressed?
No.
No.
Well, she's 1832, and at the time that they went to doctors, ladies would not undress in front of a doctor, and they would take these little dolls. This one happens to be all handmade. They would take the doll and they would point to their toe, and he would give them a medicine.
Oh, so you'd
Yeah.
point on
Yeah.
the doll to
doll.
wherever
Point
you
on
had
the
a
doll,
problem.
yes.
Oh,
This one, and this one's wonderful because she has this
Hair.
lovely hairdo.
yeah.
And this is all kid. How they ever did it.
It's leather, yeah.
Yeah, it's all kid.
Wow.
Yeah. She dates around 1795. This is when the father would take a stick of wood and carve it and then dress it. And it's interesting because it's all its original clothes. These were made in 1900, 1915 and whatnot, and they all came from Paris. They were in the show there, and they would just take these are wax, and they would the body is wire, and they wrap paper, tissue paper around them, and then each house, fashion house in Paris, would dress the doll for this exhibit. What I did was I would get them when somebody, they were not in good condition. This girl, all I had was the head and the arms, and then I sent to Ohio to get this changeable cell. When I took the scraps off of her, I documented it so I would know how to sew, and so she looks all original, but I did it. All the ladies of the church always used to give Vivian the laces and whatnot that they were going to throw out. And so I dressed her completely. And my mother and grandmother were milliners. And so naturally I made the hat. And did it, I used straw and formed the whole thing. And that's what this young lady has on. They had a seminar, and I asked them to give me an idea. Well, they oohed and ahhed, and I thought, I can't stand this. I'm going to do it my way. Mrs. Douglas, do you remember her?
Not really.
Well, when she died, they gave me a scrapbook, and I loved it and everything, but I didn't know how to use it. So what I did was I took the page off and put it in water and floated all of the, they're called scraps, came to the top. And then I made them into Christmas things. And the reason it's special, I had a call from a gentleman, and I thought, who is this? And he asked if this was Vivian Casperson. Well, of course it was. He said, well, and he gave me his name. He said, you taught me in I think it was 1946. That doesn't sound right. was 36.
36.
Yeah, and he's 80, and he came to see me, and that's what he brought me for the Christmas tree.
Oh, nice.
Memories,
Yeah.
memories, yeah. So
How long did you teach, Vivian?
I taught 10 years.
10 years.
And what did you teach?
I taught math and
Okay.
science. Well, this is the way. This is maybe in the 90s sometime. You have just the face and the arms, and sometimes you have the feet, and then you add the dress and whatnot. I lived in an era where you learned to do things. Naturally, I had a talent because of my mother and grandmother sewing. I just, you did it. And that's the thing, my mother kept things, and I was taught what they were. And I just was,
Well, that's
I
important.
had an
knowledge was passed
exceptional
on
mother.
down.
I really did.
Yeah.
She made me aware of everything. And, well, they're all different.
Yes, they are.
And fortunately, I love them all.